Jai Hind everyone. Today we are going to discuss register, bus and memory transfer operation in computer. This is the part 3 of unit 1 and we will focus on register, bus and memory transfer. Basically this topic discuss about how the various component within the computer, especially the CPU, they are connected and how data transfer takes place between the various units. So, let us proceed further. So, there is one operation that is to be performed and that operation is called as micro operations. So, micro operations is a transfers data between various units through bus. So, if we want to transfer data from register A to register B, this bus will be used to transfer data. So, basically if this bus is to be understood, it is a set of parallel data lines and this data line is used to transfer data from input to output. So, this connects the output of source register, that let us say A is a source register, then data will go to this bus and this will go to the input of the target register. So, it will go here. So, this happens only when there is a clock signal available or the pulse arrives, then this transfer will happen. So, the movement of data will be like this. Now, this is to be noted that the data will be done one at a time between a pair of connected units within the CPU or computer unit. So, A and B can communicate one at a time. Similarly, if C and D transfer takes place, then it will be transferred at the separate unit of the time. So, let us see further details. So, we already know that there are various components within the CPU and these components are building blocks and these components are listed here, like memory address register is a one register, memory data register another register, program counter instruction registers are another registers, there are general purpose registers, then there is arithmetic unit and the control unit. So, if data is to be transferred in between these units, okay, so organization support that. So, how these units are organized such that they can communicate with each other is the objective of today's lecture. So, if we understand the previous slide, we can easily know that these component has to communicate for exchange of data and the exchange of data is called as communication with each other and that has to be done in organized manner or there should be some systematic approach to transfer that particular data. So, let us see how this happens. If we see the whole structure of the listed units in the previous slide, like PC, MAR, MDR, IR, general purpose register, temporary register, ALU, and there is a control unit here, we can see there is a internal bus which act as a common path and every unit are connected with each other, not directly, but they are connected through this bus. So, whenever the data will transfer, it will first grow from one unit to bus, then from bus to another unit. Okay. So, it is very interesting to observe that within this microprocessor inside unit description, there are several units connected together. So, natural question is that can anybody communicate at any time? No. Any unit can communicate with any unit through this bus and under the strict control of control unit that generates the control signals to activate a particular unit to send a data or receive a data. So, we will see how this will proceed in very fine steps or smaller steps. So, this bus can be a single bus that we have discussed in the previous slide. So, in single bus organization, ALU, control unit and all other registers are connected via single common bus. So, one bus will be connected to every unit. So, bus is a internal to processor and should not be confused with the external bus that connect with the processor or memory IO devices. So, we can note down here that internal bus is one bus which is very fast, then it is connected to a IO interface that we will cover in 5th unit, and this IO interface is connected to outside world. So, that is we are talking about the internal and external bus. So, this bus is basically broadly divided into two parts. First is a data line and the second is address line. So, what happens in data lines? In data line only data is being transferred, and in address line we delegate the particular unit address which is to be accessed. So, register like MDR has two inputs and two outputs, that it can take input and it can give output to the outside of the CPU, and data may be loaded to and from the internal processor to bus or external memory bus. So, that is bidirectional, that is very important. Okay. Now, address line is basically uses a memory address register MAR, which receives input from the processor to through bus, and it provides output to the external memory bus, so that the particular location can be easily accessed through this MAR. Now, if we dig down in detail with respect to the previous slide, this is a bus line, okay, that was shown like this earlier, and there is a register which was shown like this and connected by a single arrow which is bidirectional. So, if we go and identify this this small abstract view, this bus contains multiple line which is this, and this arrow which is bidirectional is basically nothing. This is the input which is happening to the register, and then from register it is going as output to the bus. So, this bidirectional operation is basically done through multiple wires which is of the size of the bus. So, the number of bits, say for example, there are 31 0 to 31 bus line number. So, there are 32 bits here to be transferred on the bus. So, 32 bit can move from bus to register and from register to bus. So, this simple operation is to be performed for the transfer of data from bus to register and register to bus. Now, very interesting thing, that is this channel directly open and anytime data can come from bus to register and anytime it can go from register to bus? No, there is certain control, and then that control is through this clock that tells when it will do this particular task, when this operation is enabled for transfer of data from bus to register and register to bus. So, we require enable signal plus we require a clock together to initiate this operation from bus to register and register to bus. So, let us see further. Bus may be viewed as a collection of parallel wires that we have already seen, and a very interesting thing that bus have no memory, it does not store any information, it only collection of wires. So, when data is on the bus, all the registers can see. So, we can see that when any data is available here in this channel of bus, it is seen by every register. PC can also see, MAR can also see, MDR can also see, and IR can also see. So, we must understand that this is just a collection of wire, and whatever it is flowing on this wire can be seen by all the input registers. So, register has a choice under the control to the content on to the bus depending upon the control signal and plus the clock. Okay. So, basically control signal is enable signal that enables particular register to do this particular task. Now, if we see in more detail, we can understand this in smaller steps. So, at any one time that we have already discussed, only one registers may output its content to the bus. So, which register output to the content to the bus is determined by the control signal, that is the control unit at the connection with the bus. So, when it is issued, the control logic will enable that particular register to transfer or initiate the data. So, control signal depends upon the instruction loaded in the instruction register. So, IR is a register which sends data to control unit, and this control unit interprets which particular register is to read the data and send back to the bus. Okay. So, register can load the data from the bus under the control of control unit. So, certainly this data will be loaded to bus and it is controlled by the control unit. Further, registers are clocked, means they work under some sequence. So, that is why it is called as sequential entities. Unlike other units which do not have clock, they do not work under the clock signal, rather they purely work in combinational fashion. As input arrives, it will generate the output. But here you should understand that this operation is sequential, means it depends upon the sequence of action that has to be performed, and the sequence of action that has to be performed is governed by the control unit, and the control unit is doing all the tasks on the basis of the instruction that it has received from the instruction register. Okay. So, let us see more in detail. We are showing very specific example of one general register like register RI, and we have already shown you in detail that there is a one input path and there is a one output path. Now, you can see here that there is a gated entry, shown here, which tells that data from bus will go to register or not. So, when RI in is enabled or it is set to 1, then only data will go from bus to register. Certainly, when this gate this one is connected to RI out. So, when RI out is set to 1, then the content of register RI will move to bus. So, each register RI has two control signals, one is RI in and another is RI out. So, certainly this RI in and RI out is generated through control unit. As its value becomes 1, the data from the registers or to the register go to the bus or to the register, and this holds for each and every register. Say for example, Y register is there, there is a Z register is there. Okay. So, for every register this control signal will be coming depending upon whether there are input path and output path. Since it can have input path as well as output, so there are two controls, RI in and RI out. Now, you can see here in Z there is two paths, one from ALU, another from Z to bus. So, when data has to come from ALU to Z register, then Z in will be opened, and when data is to be sent from Z to bus, then Z out will be open. So, we can see here that this control signal helps in transferring data from particular register to other units through bus. So, let us proceed and see further how this control is implemented. Now, there is a one sample case of 4 register A, B, C and D, and each register is of 4 bits. Now, we understand that there is a combinational circuit that is called as multiplexer. So, in multiplexer there are inputs, say for example, there are 4 inputs and there is 2 selection line. So, here particularly there are 4 inputs and there is 1 output. So, that is why it is called as 4 cross 1 multiplexer. So, this selection line S0 or S1 okay, has 4 possible values 0 0, 0 1, 1 0 and 1 1. So, at input 0 0 the first bit will be selected, at 0 1 second bit will be selected, at 1 0 third bit will be selected and 1 1 fourth will be selected. So, we can see here with this diagram that the third bit of each register is going to multiplexer 3. Now, very interesting, when this multiplexer will be 1 1, selection line will be 1 1. So, it will select the third bit. Okay. So, what will happen, this multiplexer will select this bit from here and this bit D2 bit from here, which is third, and this bit from here and so on, and ultimately this whole line will contains 3 2 1 0 bits of a particular register. So, at 0 0 it will select the register 1, then it 0 1 it will select register 2, then at it will select register 3 and register 4. So, you can easily identify that this particular S0 and S1 act as a selection pin to select a particular register and move the content through this multiplexer to the bus. Now, if we expand this further, we can see that if the register size is of not 4 bit, it is of 8 bit, certainly the number of multiplexer will remain same, but the input to the multiplexer will increase. Okay. So, in this way we can select the particular register and the data will go to the output of the particular bus line. Okay. So, this is one way to implement transfer from register to bus using multiplexer. So, this can be seen with this truth table that for these selection line the registers will be selected A, B, C and D, and the step will be taken place like this. First the data will be sent from register C to bus, and after it has arrived to the bus, then the data will go back to register A. So, formally this transfer of data from register C to A is one micro operation. Okay. So, in the very first slide we have talked about the micro operation. So, what is micro operation? Micro operation is one logical operation, okay, one logical operation that user C, user means user is only interested in transfer of data from C to A. User does not bother about how data has gone from C to bus and then from bus to A. So, this can be easily understood the concept of architecture. So, architecture tells what is the language, what is the way the instructions are executed. So, user only give instruction move the content or move the content from register A to C. So, this move will be translated into control unit, and the control unit will generate first this signal at one clock input, and the next subsequent clock input it will generate the it will do the transfer operation from bus to register A. So, this move CA is an architectural abstract for the user. So, content of register C is placed on the bus and the content of the bus is loaded into register A by activating the load control input. Okay. So, we can understand this term architecture very well right here, because we have given abstraction to the user to give this instruction move CA without focusing on the detail how it is being implemented, that is the organizational part. So, the previous one is the organizational part, and this is the architectural part, that how user will particularly perceive this operation to be completed. Now, let us move further. Is there any other way to implement this? Yes. Another way is called tri-state gate. What is tri-state gate? We can see here the tri-state gate has one input on another output, and there is a control input C. So, basically this control input C, when it is 1, the output, that is the output is become A, that is input, and when it is high impedance C is equals to 0, it is disconnected. So, the output does not go to input does not go to output. So, I have taken this diagram from the book Maurice Mano, and it says that the bus system can be constructed as previous that we have discussed about the multiplexer. Using multiplexer, it can also be constructed with 3-state gate, and also it is known as tri-state gate, both are the same. So, we do not require multiplexer. Why we are choosing this tri-state gate? Reason being is that multiplexer is complex and consumes lot of circuitry element. So, 3-state gate digital circuit that exhibits 3 state that we have discussed right here. 2 of the states are signals equivalent to logic 1 and 0 that we have already seen, and the last state is third state, which is high impedance, that is C is equals to 0. Yeah. C is equals to high impedance, that is if C is equals to 0. So, at high impedance it behaves like open circuit, means that there will be no movement of data from input to output, which means that the output is disconnected and does not have a logic significance. So, 3-state gate may perform any conventional logic such as AND and OR and NAND as per as our requirement. However, one of the most commonly used design of bus system is buffer gate using this. So, basically it will act as a very design of register to bus transfer operation or bus to register transfer. Now, how this is being implemented? So, there is a bus and there is an input from bus to this particular implementation, and there is an output to bus. In between you can see there is one mux which only has 2 inputs and 1 selection line that we have discussed RI in at the previous slide. So, when it becomes 1 it will select this input, and when it becomes 0 it will select this input. So, what will happen when it becomes 1? The data will come from bus from multiplexer to here, and it will stored in a D flip flop. So, temporarily it will store the data. So, say for example, in bus line there is 1 bit, so it will store 1. Okay. Now, so we can see here that when data is coming, it is being stored here, okay, as 1, data is being stored here 1, okay. Now, when this 1 will remain because of D flip flop, this input is 1, stored is 1, so output is also 1. So, this 1 will go back here, okay. Now, after the data has been received and stored here, this is set to 0. So, what will happen? This 1 will move here and that will come once again here. So, with every clock till the new clock signal for is available to transfer data and RI out is not enabled, this 1 will move here in circular fashion. So, this D flip flop will maintain the state of 1 by circulating the value of 1 which is stored here. Similarly, if it is stored as 0, so 0 will circulate and move here and it will be retained in the D flip flop until unless new data come from the bus. So, we can see here that each bit in the register may be implemented by edge triggered D flip flop. Okay. So, one bit is of register is implemented using D triggered flip flop. Okay. So, two input multiplexer is used to select the data applied to the input of a edge triggered flip flop, and the Q output of the flip flop is connected to bus via tri-state gate. So, this is another way of doing simple task. So, that is same thing when it is R I in 1, data will move here, and R I n will become 0. So, data will circulate here and preserved here. So, same thing is shown here for R out. So, it will be stored here and preserved here. So, this is how it is being implemented. So, if you want to connect data of say for example 4 bits of A, B, C, D register. So, A0 bit of register A, B0 bit of register B0 and C0 bit of register C and D0 bit of register D is sent to this tri-state buffer or gate. So, you can see this tri-state buffer is connected through the open circuit bit, that is high impedance, through this decoder, that is a 2 cross 4 decoder. So, what will happen for 2 cross 4 decoder, there are 2 selection lines. So, for S1 and S0, 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1 input, it will enable this that it will pass this enable signal. Say for example, for 0 0, this enable signal will move to this point. Okay. So, for 0 0, it will enable this 0, that is it will enable a particular bit of A0. Clear? Similarly, if it has 0 1 as a selection line, it will send the enable signal to this. So, this will enable the B0 bit of register B. Now, you can see here for 0 0 selection line, okay, it will select A0 from this particular circuit, and if we have a similar circuit for say for example A1, B1, C1 and D1. So, for 0 0 it will select A1 also, okay. Then for 0 0 it will select A2 also, then for 0 0 it will select A3 also. So, you can see all the bits of register A0, A1, A2 and A3 are selected using tri-state gate using this particular tri-state buffer to transfer data from register A to bus. But you should note that this transfer only 1 bit. So, it will transfer A0 bit. So, there will be a same circuit that will transfer A1 bit and a same circuit that will transfer A2 bit and the same circuit that will transfer A3 bit. So, a numerical question can be asked in your examination that for this particular example 4 bit register and there are 4 registers. Okay. How many tri-state gates will be required? So, you can easily see that for each bit I require 1 tri-state buffer. So, here are 4 bits. Okay. So, this circuit will be repeated 4 times. So, total number of tri-state buffer will be 4 into 4, 16 tri-state buffer will be consumed. And the second part of the question will be asked how many decoders will be required. So, for 4 bit I require 1 decoder. So, same circuit will be repeated. So, total 4 decoders, this circuit will be used 4 times to transfer data from a 4 bit register to a 4 bit bus. Okay. So, we can easily see that how this transformation is taking place to transfer the data from register to bus. Now, comparison point of view, a question is asked, what is the difference between multiplexer based approach for transfer of data and the last approach that we have discussed, that is a tri-state gate based data. So, we can say in the last summary of this lecture that you have to compare the mux based approach, okay, versus tri-state gate based approach of data transfer from register to bus. So, this is bit complex, this is bit easy. There are lots many circuit elements, there are very few circuit elements. Okay. This is higher energy consuming and this is less energy consuming because number of circuit elements are less. So, thank you my dear students. So, this we have discussed about how the data transfer takes between register to bus and other elements of the CPU units. Thank you and Jai Hind.